Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Treasure Coast Connector is the talk show and online community where we put a spotlight on interesting organizations and resources, then connect them to you, the consumers in the community. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about what's happening in our own backyard and support local businesses, it strengthens the local economy. For details on the show, links to discounts, promos, past interviews, check out www.tcconnector.com. Well, Americans, we love to shop online and in stores, and most businesses are trustworthy, but there are scammers out there, and we need to be careful. And luckily, there's an organization that we can turn to for help. I'm talking about the Better Business Bureau. Through the BBB, we can research local companies, and we can even file a complaint and get help if needed. Joining me today is Rod Davis, and he is the president and CEO, and Cynthia Lavin. So she is the VP of Communications and Community Engagement, and they have some really important updates to share with us. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here,
Ellen. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Both of you. I know, Cynthia, both of you are not new to interviews at all. Cynthia, this is the second time for you on the show. Rod, this is your first. I'm happy to have you here. Before we start talking about the Better Business Bureau, share with me, and you're appearing remotely because you're down in South Florida. I'm here in Vero Beach. So if I'm like looking in different areas, I'm just looking at the monitor straight ahead. And I would love for you to share a bit about your background and what brought you to the Better Business Bureau. So, Rod, if it's okay, can I start with the ladies first? Can I start with Cynthia?
Absolutely.
Cynthia, what brought you to the Better Business Bureau?
Well, I had an extensive background in communications, but also the mission of the BBB is really what attracted me to the organization. I like being able to help people, being able to help small businesses. My mother was a small business owner about 10, 15 years ago, and she was a BBB accredited business. So I was familiar with the brand, and I always had great things to say about it. So joining a part of it was an easy decision.
Absolutely. And how about you, Rod? What brought you to the Better Business Bureau?
Well, actually, it's not too dissimilar to Cynthia. My grandfather ran a printing business, and my father set up his own printing business when I was a young kid. And in addition to his regular job, he was a school teacher. So I was his cheap labor and worked in the print shop for quite a while, and also got to help my mother with her side gig. She was an Avon lady, so whenever her orders came in, all the kids got together. We helped her bag up things and get them ready for delivery to all of her customers. And when I saw an opportunity to get in and work with the BBB, which was a few years ago, back in 1984, I thought, this would be a place I would like to work to help businesses do better and be better, and to help consumers find those that are committed to good customer service.
That's wonderful. And as a matter of fact, that's a perfect segue into the next thing I wanted to ask both of you is I'd like for you to give an overview of what the BBB offers from the perspective of the consumers.
Well, since Cynthia is the head of communications, I'll let her take that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for what we offer to consumers is the ability to go and search for businesses in their area and find all types of vendors, especially for home repairs, for all kinds of things. And we have a specific tool that can help consumers, and it's called an eQuote. So if you want to do some home repairs or have a question about a service, you can submit an eQuote, and you will have 3 vendors answer that within your area, and you can pick the one that works best for you. So we work with consumers in that regard. We do a lot of tips and raising awareness. We do presentations for consumer groups as well. And we are always just raising awareness throughout the year on different topics. Mother's Day is coming up, so we put out tips on that, and even things that people don't often think about, something as simple as a flower service. We create tips and create videos around that. So that's one of the main things that we have for consumers. We also have the ability to file a review for your favorite company or a company that you interacted with. And our review platform is different from other review platforms because we always have human eyes behind the reviews
Oh,
that we receive.
that's very nice. I didn't, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that, but that's actually very, very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
and
is
it's
very important because
No, go ahead, Rod. Go ahead.
yeah.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Rod.
Yeah, okay. No, no, it is really important because we want people to trust the reviews, and so we do go through a validation process to try and make sure that they're coming from authentic consumers. And then we also give the businesses a chance to look at the review so they can put in their comments on any review so that they both are posted at the same time. So if it's a positive one, then obviously they're going to step up and say thank you. And if it's a negative one, we hope they'll look at it, and sometimes they'll put in their own side of the story. There's always 2 sides, sometimes 3 or 4 to every issue. And so we want them to be able to share that and then have the information go up at the same time. So it's a really fair and balanced platform for people. And we encourage consumers to respond very professionally. And we also ask the businesses to do the same. People can have complaints and disagreements, but what we find is if they work together, we can often reach positive outcomes. So always be positive, always be professional. We've all had bad days, we've all made mistakes, and the true measure is what we do when we are put in front of a problem that we may have contributed to, and see if we can't solve it.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful, especially sometimes you can have maybe a competitor that isn't a nice competitor, and then they want to just, ruffle feathers, create problems, or maybe a previous employee. So I really like this system. And, you were talking about certain things coming up like Mother's Day, but we also are just at the start of hurricane season. I know that we just, always hope for the best, but unfortunately, and we've even had a few thunderstorms come in recently that did some localized damage. But when there's a big storm that hits, we get a lot of people coming in from all over to help. And while that's wonderful, there are also unscrupulous contractors and even local businesses that are selling supplies that or maybe price gouging. How do you help protect consumers in this regard?
Well, I think that
Well,
there's a
I can
couple of
tell you.
things.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, and I want everybody to know, because you're not local in the studio, there's
Yeah.
about a 1.5-second delay. So that's the only reason why. So we'll do ladies first because I'm a lady. So we'll
There you
we'll
go.
let Cynthia go first. Sorry, Rod.
Well, I can tell you, Ellen, for May is our Hurricane Preparedness Month. So we really work hard in all of the communications that we're going to send out during hurricane season. Our content creator works in having some informational videos that talks about the kit that people are supposed to have, but some other tips that are not usually talked about, like having a list of vendors that you might need. If in case of a storm, we also encourage people to take care of those little things around the home that perhaps they've kind of just let slide for a little bit, like maybe having something in the roof fixed or having some trees trimmed so that they're prepared once the season starts June 1st. They're not going to be as concerned because they're as prepared as possible.
And how about you, Rod? What do you have to add for that?
Well, I think in addition to that kit, you kind of follow the Boy Scout motto, always be prepared. And part of that preparation is to have a list of your contractors, your roofer, your electricians, the folks that you might need to call in, window companies. And if you have a relationship with them, you've done business with them in the past, a lot of times they will give you first dibs on when they're available. So developing those relationships is always a good thing. Always have a backup or two. So, go with your primary list, but add in a backup or two that you can get to that is trusted, that has a good track record. And then even if you're desperate and you're in one of those situations where you've tried 1, 2, and 3, you can still check out any of those other businesses on bbb.org, even if you've just got your cell phone. So you are able to check them out before you do business with them. And even though our information is localized so that we can give specific information, we share a network with 94 other Better Business Bureaus throughout North America. So all of the information that they have is also accessible. So if there is a business that comes into Southeast Florida that has operated maybe in Georgia or somewhere else, their track record will be something you can pull up. So you'll be able to see, do they have a good track record? And again, our data is coming from consumers like yourselves. And so it's something that, if you think about it, BBB was kind of the first shared media platform where we pulled together the information from our neighbors and friends and looked at it to help make smart decisions when it comes to who to hire. So I think, being prepared, having that information ready, and then knowing which of your friends have generators. So
yes, no, that is,
that's always a good thing to have. Have a good friend who's got a generator. Cynthia knows she can come over to my house if we lose power here in Fort Lauderdale, because I did get myself set up having lived through a few occurrences where my power went out.
Yep, I get that. And I just got the take a break from Cindy sign. But before we do that, I just want you to say, for the people that are watching this on live stream, they see the graphics, but for the podcasters and iHeart, what is the URL to direct them? Because once they get to that main URL for the Southeast Florida and the Caribbean, they can find all the information about the storms and the filing of a complaint. So where do they go?
The easiest thing for them to do is just go to bbb.org, and from that they can find their local BBB. So that's the easiest way to remember it. Once they get to bbb.org/Southeast Florida, then they can put that in their bookmarks and it's always there.
That's perfect. And with that, we're going to take a break because I have some other questions to ask, but we're going to save it for a couple of minutes. They have a lot more to say, Rod and Cynthia from the Better Business Bureau. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Revive Vero Beach, located next to Anytime Fitness on Oslo Road and 27th Avenue, has everything you need to look and feel your best, including hormone replacement therapy, stem cell therapy, sexual wellness, weight loss, laser aesthetics, hair, tattoo, and skin spot removal, Botox and fillers, cryotherapy, comprehensive blood work, and everybody's favorite, ozone and IV therapy. Refresh, renew, and revitalize yourself at Revive today. Call 772-492-6607. A member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome. welcome.
ITEX, or International Trade Exchange, is the largest barter company in the world with over 25,000 members offering goods and services. We're a marketing company that brings you new business in the way of trade, with over 200 local members enjoying the benefits of ITEX, like lawyers, doctors, plumbers, media, printing, and more.
Hi, this is Liz Bowler. Contact me and find out why barter through ITEX has been smarter for over 30 years. 772-532-1881. Visit itex.com.
Are you ready for the ultimate charity softball tournament presented by Cleveland Clinic and Indian River Hospital? Come join us for Sawbones versus Jawbones, where local physicians and attorneys show off their skills and compete for the win. Bring your friends, family, and team spirit, and we'll see you at 6 p.m. on Friday, May 19th at Holman Stadium at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex. Concession stands will be open. All proceeds benefit the programs and services supported by United Way of Indian River County. Let's play ball.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been chatting with Rod Davis and Cynthia Lavin from the Better Business Bureau, the Southeast of Florida and Caribbean Division. So we are going to dive back into these questions. This show goes by very fast. And you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to focus now on what's available for the businesses and why, because sometimes businesses say, well, why should I be accredited with the BBB, and what does that all entail? I'll start with Cynthia first, and then we'll have Rod also interject as well what he needs to get across. So we'll start with Cynthia.
Well, when it comes to the business population, we are always just focusing on education as one of our biggest things, educating the business as to how they can be better businesses, how they can just help themselves if they need any kind of thing. So we work with other organizations in the community, whether it's SCORE, so if they want to learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship, whether it's the JMI Foundation that also talks about entrepreneurship, SBA as well. So that's one of the things that we can offer people, a lot of education, and I'll let Rod add a little bit more to our services.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Rod.
Great. Thank you, Ellen. Yeah, we are kind of a hub for business. And so we bring together a lot of businesses at different events. And we are a networker that helps share best ideas, best practices, so they can learn from that. And there's a lot of business groups that focus on verticals. So they may get in line with people who do windows or roofs or marketing. But they really kind of learn a lot when they get in and talk to different industries and see what they're doing and how they're working things. So they really appreciate that. We also make available a lot of tools to the accredited businesses that help them with their reviews online, how to manage those, not just on BBB, but on other sites like Google and Yelp. We help them make sure that they are set up properly on the internet to maximize their SEO services for their website. So do a listing report to make sure it's consistent across all the platforms. Additionally, by being affiliated with BBB, the BBB has a really strong web presence. And so their BBB business profile will be very highly rated in the search. So if someone searches and they see Ellen's marketing business, and it's at the top of their page, they'll click on it and they'll learn all about the services that you provide. And if you're accredited, they'll also see that you're affiliated with the Better Business Bureau, which has a very high trust mark in the eyes of consumers. So that can help you get some additional business. We also know that marketing is not always easy in the digital age. And so there's a lot of people who are great roofers and great plumbers, but they may not be really good marketers. So we actually run some marketing programs to help those businesses be found by consumers. And so we do that for accredited businesses as well. And then in the fall of every year, we do our BBB Torch Awards for Ethics, where we get to recognize some businesses that are phenomenal and doing a great thing in the community with their employees, with their customers and just operate on a culture of ethics and good business. So businesses can get recognized for that. So we do a lot of things. We just try to bring that all together. As Cynthia mentioned, there's a lot of great resources here locally. We try to put them in touch with those groups and just promote doing the right thing. And hopefully consumers then find them and recognize that for these businesses that are making that extra commitment, they're going to get their business.
Absolutely. I've had some businesses, especially in the skilled trades, like they go door to door. I've had some tree people come to my house and fencing and things like that. And so one of the things that I do is I go online and I do as much research about them as possible. And when I see that they are accredited with the BBB, that actually makes me feel a lot more confident. If it says that they're not accredited, of course, I'm still looking at everybody's profiles, but I want to then see, do they have complaints or they don't have complaints, that kind of thing. So that's what I love. And that's also another good segue into my next question, and that is about seniors, our senior community. You hear such sad stories every now and then about they get taken for a ride, but you are protecting the seniors too. So if you can speak to that a little bit, Cynthia.
Well, with the senior community, we have been working for a long time, and we are always happy to go to different areas and give presentations as to what are some of the most prevalent scams. And they change a little bit throughout the year, so we're always updating. We do a big push during Consumer Awareness Week in the Treasure Coast and do a big presentation, and we have anywhere from 50 to 60 people just attend, and we've gone to different local radio shows of facilities as an assisted living, just talking about what are the scams and how they can protect themselves. Also, when it comes to investing, really how they can just look up what are the most safe ways to invest and to not fall for some of these predatory things. And a lot of people come very prepared. They'll bring their mail and say they don't want to make a decision until they talk to us. And they have all these questions. And seniors are very tech savvy nowadays. So it's really not about them lacking that knowledge of the digital age. It's just about these scammers really being good at getting anybody. And it's not just the senior population, but it can be anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have about a minute and a half left. So what I'd like for Rod to share again in the second half is how can people find your chapter for Southeast Florida and the Caribbean, and different contact information you'd like to share for the iHeartRadio and podcasters.
Yeah, again, just go to bbb.org, and then there's up in the upper right-hand corner a place where you can find your BBB, put your zip code in, make that your home BBB, and then that will pull us right up. It will pull up all the information that Cynthia has talked about, the tips, the scam warnings, any kind of releases that we put out. It'll let you search for businesses to find trustworthy businesses, leave reviews on those that have done a great job that you want others to find, and then also lets you get a quote from businesses. So you can go ahead and put in what you need done, get 3 quotes, compare them, meet with them, and find the one that just fits with you. And that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing that it's just a lot more people think that this is a business database. And I really want people to understand that it is way more than that. And I really thought that that's predominantly what it was until I met with Jackie. And boy, did she teach me a lot. That Jackie McNeil is amazing. And there's so much information for consumers and for businesses, for education on both sides. I love that so much. We have 1 minute. So what I'm going to say is to both of you, thank you very much for being on this show again. The amount of information that we learn is wonderful. So anytime you have more things to share, I would love to have you both on the show. And if Evergreen Media ever gets its own, helicopter or jet, we'll just fly you up to Vero Beach. But, or if you're in the area for an event, that would be wonderful too. So thank you again, both of you, for sharing such great information. My name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope that everyone has a wonderful, safe, productive week. And until next week, I miss you already.